started in the kitchen today with Chef Paul Apana, who doesn't need a glittery spray tan.
Well, you know, I'm a big spray tan person myself, so I'm glad you told me. I'm just going to keep quiet about it. But yeah, I knew that already.
Oh my goodness. 3 different kinds of bruschetta this morning.
Boy, this show's never boring, is it?
Ever. Ever. One of them is vegetarian, one of them has chicken, and one of them has beef.
That
All
is
of them
right.
will have a base, perhaps, of a little bit of tomatoes.
That's it, except for the beef one. But, you know, it's summer's all about, you don't want to really cook too much sometimes. You want a light snack, especially if you just want to lounge around your pool or the above ground pool, as we like to have in Maricopa. I'm just kidding. I'm going to get hate mail now.
You are so getting hate mail.
But you know, especially they're very light. This one is all cold. The second one has some hot chicken on it, and the third one it has, you know, the hot fillet on there, melted cheese.
Yeah.
So we progress through all 3 of those, delicious, and to kind of appease anyone, vegetarian, like we said, chicken or beef.
Okay.
Fantastic. This one here, the very first one, is just you know, your basic tomato relish that goes on top. You're going to start with, and it seems like a bit much, but about 4 cups of diced tomatoes. Make sure they're a little firm.
How many tomatoes is, I mean, if it's like, say, a medium-sized tomato, or like, let's say it's a medium-sized Roma tomato, how many would we need to pick
up? A Roma
up?
tomato, which are a little bit smaller, probably want to go about 6 to 8.
Okay.
The larger ones, you could probably go with maybe about 4 or a little bit more than that.
You wouldn't advise the cherry. No, I'm just kidding.
No, no. You're going to spend all day. It's like, I hate that Chef Paul. Oh. But you just get your tomatoes and make sure they're a little bit on the firm side. If they get small, and if they get really ripe when you're trying to cut them, they're really mushy. And you can use that word out there. Mushy is the word for today. But you can see these are actually a very vibrant color. I diced them this morning, very fresh. About 4 cups. Now this one in particular is going to have freshly diced chives. Now, one thing to remember about all types of herbs, and I say this every single time, cut them right before you're going to use them.
Okay.
You get the biggest bang out of it. How about some fresh basil? Love basil. Now we're going to put capers in this particular one as
Love
well.
Capers.
You know, and the reason why, and I'll tell you in just a second, we're also going to throw in a little cracked black pepper in there. Now, I like to put capers in there because you're actually going to put some dressing in there. This one that the Village Tavern we call for Tavern Vinaigrette, which is a vinaigrette dressing, but it has a bit of a lemon flavor to it.
Okay,
so,
that's it?
That's it.
That doesn't look like a vinaigrette. It looks like a creamy.
Well, you know what I like to do is,
ranch-ish.
well, it's a secret that I cannot tell you, so I'm not going to be able to tell you.
That's an ancient Chinese secret.
That's right.
We can live with that.
So you're going to throw a little bit of that dressing there, and you're just going to mix it around. Make sure that you infuse all the flavors in the tomatoes, and now you're done with your relish. Now, one thing that we're going to go through when you're actually doing the bread is there are some secrets to making good bruschetta bread. You know, you just can't just run off the street and just start.
Well, before we hit the bread, though,
it.
I do want to say, if somebody is at home and they want to just grab the things they have in the refrigerator with the tomatoes and the capers and the basil and the chives, can we use a certain type of dressing that we might have that's like just kind of store-bought dressing? Like,
most certainly.
But it would need to be a creamier.
Yes, certainly. And you know, you could even use balsamic vinaigrette, just use a little bit less. That tends to be a very strong dressing. But there you have it. You can let it sit in the refrigerator for up to about 4 hours, 6 hours if you don't want to use it right then and there. But you have that. Now, as far as the bruschetta, once you have your sliced bread, I like to use garlic butter, just a little bit of garlic and butter. The important thing when you do that is, besides covering both sides, you want to toast both sides. So you're just going to spread it on there, and if you see that part right there, look on both sides, voila. And so the reason why you do want to toast both sides is because you don't want to have that soft part on the bottom when you take a bite. You'd really like bruschetta to be kind of crunchy on both ends.
It falls to the bottom.
It does. It really does.
It's not good.
So once we have our bruschetta bread, we're going to go ahead and spread that on there, and I'm going to have you help me with one thing, which is going to be the cheese. But presentation-wise, pretty simple. Go in there, you'll have all the flavors infused together. Now, before we do that, I'm sorry, I didn't give you your go sign. I like to put a little pesto on mine.
Ooh.
Wow, I got a couple. I got an O and a Now that is shaved Reggiano Parmesan, one of the best cheeses you can get. And throw a little bit or as much as you'd like. And voila, you know what? It holds very well. And the good thing about it, especially if you're using that as an appetizer for parties or friends, if you have the bread a little bit on the crunchy side, it's going to hold up for an hour, an hour and a half. If you don't toast both sides, it gets a little soft.
Easy peasy lemon squeezy. This one is easy to put out by the pool.
Yeah,
Love that.
I mean, it literally took, what, about a minute and a half to make that.
Well, a little bit less.
Yeah, a little bit less. A little bit less.
All right. We're going to leave that one there. In the next segment, we're going to hit the chicken, and then the last one, we're going to hit the beef.
That's right.
Love it. Okay.